What is up, everybody? Welcome back again to another episode of Say What Barstool Parlay. It was a crazy night last night, guys. We're gonna get into some of the draft picks from last night. Lot of good picks, a lot of interesting to slash bad. But before we get into it, as always, guys, make sure to share, like, and subscribe. So your friends can also see the content, and make sure you turn on notifications so you know when content is coming out. Anyway, let's get into this. So, I'm not going to go through all the picks because there's a lot of obvious picks, but I want to go over the ones that were kind of head scratchers, kind of made no sense. So the first pick that really kind of stunned me was the Patriots taking Drake May at 3. Now I know there's a lot of Patriot fanboy or Drake May fanboys out there who are going to say, "Well, why are you surprised? Drake May was arguably the best quarterback in this draft." Drake May is a bust. He has bust written all over him. I'm going on record. You guys can book it. Drake May will be a bust. Horrible pick for New England. If I was sitting there and Drake May's on the board, I'm trading out of that pick. I'm letting some other sucker come up and take him. I'm getting out of there. I'm collecting some draft picks. I'm moving on. I'm moving on to next year. The other thing that was surprising for me is with the other quarterbacks gone, like Jayden Daniels, why would you not take Michael Penix or Bo Nix there if you're New England? Now I understand trading back because you know other people aren't going to take them that high, so you want one of those guys and trade back. But why would you settle on the quarterback that you want as Drake May? The guy's wildly inaccurate. He makes bad decisions, turns the ball over. I don't see it. You watch Drake May film, it's like, yeah, he's big and he's got a big arm. Okay. So does Milton. What separates him from Milton? The next pick that was very shocking to me was Michael Penix going at 8 to Atlanta. I cannot understand. Let me rephrase this. I can understand why Atlanta would want Michael Penix, like I've said throughout this offseason, and the NFL scouts agreed with me. Teams were clamoring to try to trade up to get Michael Penix, which is why I was saying, what are you doing if you're the Patriots? Why is your board different than everyone else's? I've said from the get-go, Michael Penix is the best quarterback in this draft, and I've been harping on that. I've been talking about it. He 100% is the best quarterback in this draft. He has the most arm talent. The only thing with Michael Penix was the injury concerns. Now that the injury concerns are out of the way, if you can move those aside, he's the best quarterback physically in the draft. So, it just didn't make sense for Atlanta. And like I said, I understand why you would want Michael Penix. He's a great prospect, but it didn't make sense for Atlanta because you just gave Kirk Cousins $180 million. You just signed a quarterback. It makes no sense. Absolutely no sense to draft Michael Penix and immediately sit him behind Kirk Cousins. You just brought in Kirk to be the starter. You should be trying to build around Kirk and be ready to win right now, not make a future pick. And it just, I understand, trying to plan for the future and let a guy sit behind him, but Kirk Cousins is like 35. He's not going anywhere. He's going to play for another at least 4 years. So they could have absolutely waited till next year, the following year. They could have waited 2 or 3 years to take a quarterback. Taking one this early just basically assures that, hey, by next year, Kirk might be out the door, which if that's the case, you just wasted $180 million. And if you knew you wanted a quarterback in this draft, why did you sign Kirk Cousins? The whole thing for Atlanta just makes no sense. To me, it was a wasted pick for them. They didn't need a quarterback. They went out and got a quarterback. And if they did want a quarterback, which, like I said, I understand if you like Michael Penix. I love Michael Penix. I understand if you want to do that. But then you should have never signed Kirk Cousins in the first place. You should have just planned on, hey, we're going to go get Penix or Nix or one of these other quarterbacks. So just really didn't make sense to me. I thought that was a bad pick by Atlanta. It really didn't make any sense. Outside of that, the other pick that really shocked me was the Raiders. Brock Bowers. I love Brock Bowers. Great prospect. Super talented kid. But one, I was surprised he sat around that long, late, kind of into the middle of the first round. I was surprised he was still there. But I was also surprised that with him being there, the team that took him was the Raiders. The Raiders you just took Baby Gronk. You just took Michael Mayer last year at a high second round pick. Why did you take another now first round tight end? I would have thought they would have wanted the pass rusher to pair with Crosby, but and especially being a defensive head coach, I definitely thought they were going to make a defensive pick once they couldn't get a quarterback. That was a tough one for me. It made absolutely no sense, and that's one where I think if you're the Raiders, you totally drop the ball. Like I said, I thought Michael Penix was the best quarterback in this draft, but I thought it was very, very close between him and Bo Nix, and I had Bo Nix as the number one quarterback on my board purely based on Penix's injury history. I said, hey, if I got to pick one of the two, Bo doesn't have an injury history. But, so, I mean, Bo Nix is phenomenal, and he's going to be a great NFL quarterback. He's going to be a very, very solid starting quarterback. And if you're the Raiders, I don't know what they were doing sitting there. Bo Nix was sitting there. Why didn't you go get him? It made no sense to me. Apparently they didn't like Bo Nix, but I don't know how you don't like Bo Nix, other than trying to say, oh, well, he's smaller, this and that. I don't know how you don't like Bo Nix. The Brock Bowers thing was just kind of mind-boggling to me because like I said, you have Michael Mayer there. He's a great tight end. Notre Dame is a tight end factory, and this guy is the all-time leading receiver in general in tight end hit in Notre Dame history. So was very, very strange to have that guy that you just picked and just finished his rookie year last year. Now you're stretching and putting another. What are you going to run double tight end sets all the time? Like I said, I thought that was for the Raiders. For me, that would have been a trade back. Either take Dallas Turner or trade back. I couldn't make sense of what Oakland was thinking there. I would have collected picks and moved back. You absolutely do not need Brock Bowers. Yes, he's a great player, but you absolutely don't need him. So that was just a strange pick. There was a lot of very strange picks. The other thing that started to really get weird, it was at the end of the draft. A couple teams at the end. I thought Kansas City reached on Xavier Worthy. I thought they needed a big physical receiver. I thought they were going to take Adonai Mitchell if they wanted to go receiver, especially with the Rashid Rice problems right now. I'm like, you need a big physical number one. And Xavier Worthy's a great player, but he's a second. He's your 2, your 3, or your 4th receiver on a normal team who can't consistently play outside all the time. He's small, he's fast. Yes, he brings a lot of juice to the table, but I didn't think he was going to be a first-round pick. And he doesn't really bring much else to the table as a receiver outside of just being a deep threat. So I thought that was a little bit weird pairing to me with Kansas City not taking a big physical guy to try to fill in because Rice is going to be suspended. We all know that's going to happen, at some point. So that was a little strange for me. But outside of that, like San Francisco and I believe it was Washington or Seattle maybe at the end of the first round that took wide receivers. And I can't believe Adai Mitchell is still sitting out there. If these teams wanted receivers, why is he still sitting out there? He's big, fast, physical, great hands, good route runner, great run after catch. I don't understand why he's sitting out there, and they're just pulling receivers out of thin air at the end of the first round. Just they're going, they just drafted this guy from Florida. You go, who? Who did they? They took this guy in the first round. Nobody even knows who he is. So that was definitely some second, third round receivers that went very, very early at the back end of the first round. I guess teams like San Francisco just got desperate and needy for a wide receiver. I absolutely didn't understand those picks with guys like Mitchell still sitting on the board. Made no sense to me. Cooper DeJean not being picked in the first round was mind-blowing to me. I mean, there's you can never have, enough good corners. I don't understand why, like I said, why that would be why that would be a thing for these teams to pass on Cooper DeJean. But so that was kind of some of the weird stuff that I noticed throughout the first round. But now to the good stuff. I think Washington made the right call getting picking Jayden Daniels over Drake May. Daniels was clearly the better player, and that's for me, where everybody wants to pretend like it's so hard to evaluate quarterbacks. It's really not. Look at the player. Don't look at, he can throw at 70 yards. Right? No, who plays better? Who plays the position better? And when you watch games and you watch tape, Jayden Daniels clearly plays quarterback better than Drake May. I don't care if Drake May has a bigger arm. I don't care about, he's heavier or he's this. I don't care about any of that. Jayden Daniels is a better football player than Drake May. He may not be the physically stunning guy or the physically stunning arm. He's a better football player than Drake May. And so I thought that was a great pick by Washington to be able to get Jayden Daniels and make that decision in-house to get the right guy. I think Jayden Daniels is going to be great for them. I think that's a very, very good start for them to start building around with their franchise and Dan Quinn, trying to move that team forward. So great pick for them. Also, great pick from Denver. Been kind of calling this and locked it in from the start. Everybody kind of knew Bo Nix kind of reminds you of a little bit more athletic, young Drew Brees. And it was like Bo Nix and Sean Payton, and Bo Nix kind of runs the plays and gets the ball out of his hand quick. And he's just, hey, you called this play, I'll get it to this guy, and just kind of runs the offense. And is a very good systematic distributor, which is exactly what Sean Payton likes in his quarterback. So kind of knew that was going to be essentially on paper a match made in heaven, and great job by Denver not overthinking it. Hey, this was the best quarterback. One, like I said, it was top of my board because of Penix injury stuff, but no matter how you want to look at it, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, two best quarterbacks in this draft. You got the first or second best quarterback in this draft at an absolute steal, I believe, at 12. So great job by Denver. Like I said, not overthinking it, taking the best guy, and not sitting there, I don't know, maybe we should trade back or no. Take the guy, he's great. Then Denver, you're not going to be disappointed. Broncos fans, you're going to be very, very happy with Bo Nix. He's going to have a very long, extremely successful career, especially being paired with Sean Payton, barring injury, knock on wood. But yeah, other than that, I think the Cowboys finally did something right last night. They ended up going with Jalen Guyton, and they made a good move to trade back to get some more picks to get Guyton. Trade back to get some more picks in the second round, so they have some ammo to move up in the second round to get Jalen Brooks. Probably tonight is, like I said, we made the video yesterday that the Cowboys supposedly are zeroed in on Jalen Brooks. That's the running back that they want. I still completely disagree. I don't want a running back, especially a young college. Like, Brooks is a good talent. He was productive at Texas, but I don't want my future, if I'm Dallas, hanging on a running back who just came off an ACL. I mean, that's what you just dealt with Tony Pollard, is a guy who it took him half the season to get his feet back under him and start looking like any resemblance of himself. And like I said, they're not even sure if this guy's going to be ready to play. So, I mean, I don't really want a rookie running back coming off an ACL. That doesn't really interest me if I was Dallas. But apparently they're in love with Jalen Brooks. They're zeroed in. That's who they want. I've been pounding the table. They absolutely should be taking Audric Estime, not Jalen Brooks. I mean, I like the Benson kid from Florida State. I would look into that as well. Brooks, especially coming off the injury, would not be my pick, especially that high in the second round. But that was Dallas's plan. They're going to trade out of their pick, move back, take Guyton, which they need. Good pick, good player, and then move back up. Use that trade ammo that they got from trading back, and use those assets to move then back up into the earlier side of the second round to get Brooks supposedly before he's gone. So like I said, I don't love that pick with Jalen Brooks. Like I said, he's a great player. I'd be very interested to see what he does. Hopefully he comes back healthy. But I out of the running backs that are available here, if I'm Dallas, I'm looking at Blake Corum, I'm looking at Audric Estime, I'm looking at Benson from Florida State. Like I said, Brooks really wouldn't even be on my board coming off that injury. But he was very productive, and hopefully he comes back and he is himself. And if he is, then I'll end up probably eating crow and having to eat my words, because he'll be a great player if he comes back healthy. But I just thought there was a lot of options that are safer and honestly probably better fit for Dallas. Somebody like an Audric Estime. And once again, I'll say it again, that Blake Corum and Audric Estime are two of the most productive backs in college football in the last 15 years. I mean, these guys, yards per carry, total yards, total offense, touchdowns. I mean, these guys were off the charts, both of them. They were 1 and 2 in every statistical category for running backs. And I've never seen two running backs get so disrespected, where they're talking about Corum probably being a 3rd round pick and Estime being like a 5th, 6th round pick. I've never seen two running backs be so good in college and have such good careers and such good skill sets, and then be completely, washed over by the NFL and the scouts. So that'll be interesting too, to kind of see where those guys go and how all the running backs fall out. Obviously, we'll be watching tonight to see, who's going to finally take Cooper DeJean, who's going to jump on Adai Mitchell if he's sitting there. So that'll be, like I said, that'll be interesting stuff to see as well. If I was Dallas, that pick that they want to use on Brooks, I would absolutely use that on Mitchell. You just let go of Michael Gallup. You don't have another receiver. Don't give me the bull crap about Jalen Tolbert. I don't want to hear that. You need another receiver. I would use that. And like I said, there's a lot of good backs like Estime, who I think will be better than Brooks and be a great NFL back, who you could wait and get way later in this draft. So, like I said, a lot of good last night, a lot of strange, but yeah, overall that was probably one of the strangest drafts that I've ever seen. I mean, a lot of the picks you're just going, huh, what? So a lot of strange picks, a lot of guys going to weird places. But at the end of the day, day one's down. We're going into day 2 tonight. We'll kind of see how that shakes out, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know, who you're looking out for tonight, and who you guys want your teams to draft. And we'll probably talk about how day 2 went tonight. Later in the week here, and kind of go over that. So, all right, guys. As always, appreciate you tuning in. Share, like, subscribe. If you haven't, click the subscribe button. You know where it is, so you guys can get good content. You can see this stuff when it comes out. You guys can stay up to date on the latest news and stuff. And for me, I take my information, guys, and the information that I get from you. I don't run with the news stories from ESPN, Fox Sports, and all this stuff that's completely fabricated, made up crap. Especially like with Cowboys info and stuff like that, guys. I take all my information directly from, beat writers and insiders that are actually on the pulse with the team and talking to the people making the decisions and letting you know, hey, what they're talking about. Like ESPN's been reporting, Dallas was a sleeper to take a quarterback. And Mike Fisher, one of my favorite beat writers, he writes for the Cowboys, said that's not at all true. Cowboys are not at all in the hunt for a quarterback. They have zero interest in taking a quarterback high, and they might not take one at all. So that's just kind of the thing, guys. This isn't spin. This isn't fake stuff. We're going to talk about real issues. We're going to talk about real, real stories, and not give you guys a bunch of fake crap. So, as always, guys, make sure to share, like, subscribe. Appreciate you tuning in. And until next time, peace out.